day, and we're excited because we have all the authors we're going to be interviewing throughout the whole day. We're encouraging everyone to head on over to actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD and get your copy of Get Shit Done. So we have one of our authors here today, and I'm excited to share. Latara C Dragoo is here. I'm going to add her up here. Hi, Latara. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. So, we launched this book, Get Shit Done, and you submitted your chapter. You wrote your chapter. What prompted you to join this book?
I had just submitted my chapter into the book I read, and that got published, and that went to bestseller status. And I think that you've coined the term writing in a collaboration book is like eating a bag of chips. You can't just eat one. So I had to jump on board with another chapter. It's kind of addicting.
I know. I just love doing this so much. And that was, that was the thing that got me going. Yeah. So why don't you just introduce yourself, tell everybody, who you are and what you do.
I am an online marketing strategist and IT consultant. I help coaches and entrepreneurs create a strong online presence to attract their ideal clients without tech overwhelm. And I am a recovering procrastinator.
Aren't we all?
Well, I wanted to just say really quick here. I thought that I was the last person to submit my chapter for this book. And then it turns out that I was like,
there were a lot of them.
And I was so shocked.
Yeah, well, procrastination is huge. And I think we all, get to that, that point where, we're trying to juggle too many things at the same time and get everything done. So your chapter is called Time Management for Procrastinators. So
yes.
Tell us a little, why did you choose that title? And, maybe tell a little bit about what's in your chapter.
Okay, so back when I first started getting into self-improvement, self-development, the 1 Minute Time Manager was one of the first books I read. And it is all about, preparation. You have to have all of these things planned out in advance. And I was the kind of person that always crammed for the test the night before. And then I would always get a good grade on the test. And then I was working at a magazine publishing company. We had 4 deadlines a month. And I realized how well I worked under pressure and how well I was able to, how productive I was able to be on those tight deadlines. And so it was like this weird thing where I learned how to make my procrastination work for me. So I'm more productive and not less productive, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
so that's why I wanted to share some of the tools that I kind of developed for myself because of my procrastination. So, and as you said, procrastination is kind of an epidemic. So I would love to help people out there that were in that same boat.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think a lot of people tend to put things off to the last minute?
Oh my gosh.
Or why do you?
I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that for myself, but I did recently hear an interview with John DeMartini, who was in The Secret. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how our priorities basically are the precursor to our motivation. So if we don't prioritize something, it doesn't get done. And even if we tell ourselves, yeah, I really should just start exercising every day because I know that that's going to be better for me. And, logically I can say I want to be healthier, so I should exercise every day. I still don't do that because it's not at the priority level in my subconscious mind. So what I need to do is figure out a way to turn that into a priority in my subconscious mind, and then I won't even need the motivation to do it. It'll just naturally occur for me.
Yeah. And that's always hard, right? It's hard to sometimes find that motivation or to put those switches on in our mind
Yes.
and to get stuff done, to actually do it. So what is, is there one or two tips that you can share that that maybe they're in your book, maybe they're not in your chapter?
Sure. Yeah. This is actually one of my favorite ones, and I pulled this from my working at the publishing company, and that is, even if you don't actually have a deadline, create a deadline for yourself and try to keep yourself accountable to that deadline. Because I think that, especially in the world of publishing, I'm sure that you've encountered this multiple times, that people are dragging their feet when it comes to submitting their chapter on time and getting the first round of revisions back and approving it. There's all these things that go on behind the scenes when you're trying to publish a book. And I'm sure that you're this is just like I'm preaching to the choir here, but just having that deadline holds you accountable. And if you say, oh, someday I'm going to write a book, that someday will probably never come. So you have to say, I'm going to write my book and finish my book by December 31st, 2023. And even though that is a self-imposed deadline, you can still try to keep on track when you establish a deadline for yourself, and like SMART goals, things that are trackable, attainable, measurable, these types of things.
Right. It works that way too with weight loss. A lot of times, you got a wedding coming up, you get invited to a wedding in November, and you're like, all right, I'm going to lose 30 pounds by the time,
right.
or a high school reunion, or you're going to an event and it's, 2 or 3 months out, and you're like, well, if I can lose 10, 15 pounds by then. So you give yourself those deadlines, like you said, and try to encourage you to do it. So how do you you set those deadlines? I know I do this all the time. I have it in my head. All right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it by that time. But then you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. So how do we get ourselves over that, and get over that, that crunch?
Oh yeah. So I actually have an accountability partner. I meet with her about once a week when I can, and we kind of just go over, like, what did you accomplish this week? What didn't you accomplish this week? What do you want to do to course correct? What do you want to take off of your plate? What do you kind of just making these little micro adjustments as I go to kind of help. If I steer off course like greatly, then I can kind of bring, having an accountability partner kind of brings me back in check. Or if you have an accountability coach, that's even better.
That's kind of what Linda and I do with each other.
Yeah, so, it's really awesome to have somebody like that. You're creating kind of a support system, even if it's just one other person. There's a support group or a support system in place, so that you can, you're not just, if left to your own devices, you can just really go off course and just get way out there. So it's awesome to have somebody to bring you back in check every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So we're talking with the authors of the book Get Shit Done. It's available now on Amazon. We're going to encourage you to head on over to Action Takers Publishing .com/GSD. You can go over there. You can get your Kindle copy and help us hit that #1 bestseller status. So, Latara, what is one thing that you want the readers to take away from your chapter?
Don't. Okay, so if you are a procrastinator, don't get down on yourself and go into this guilt head trip thing that a lot of people end up doing, because if you set a goal for yourself, you're already in the top percentage of people on the planet. So set goals, set deadlines, and even if you don't hit those deadlines and if you don't hit those goals, you're still okay. I mean, let me just tell you, I'm full transparency here. I thought, so one of my goals was in 2021, I think it was it was 2021. I said that I would publish on Amazon 6 times by December 31st, 2021. And I think that I did one. But I still did that one. So even though I didn't make that goal, I still did better. I still fared better than I would have if I hadn't had any goals and any ambitions at all.
Right, right. So how many do you have now?
Get down on yourself for not getting those other 5. You just have to, pat yourself on the back for doing the one that you did. That
exactly. And right. And we set goals all the time, and a lot of times we go after them. Like, when we do the publishing, we'll say, okay, we want to hit this many, and it's a crazy number.
Yeah.
But we know we're probably not going to hit it, but we're going to get a lot closer to it if we go after that big number than if we didn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I love that. So how many do you have so far right now with this one?
So we have this one, and then I have the book 2 more in the works. So I'm still working on it, but
okay, we're getting closer.
Hopefully I'll get a few more wrapped up by December 31st of 2023.
So how can people connect with you, Latara, if they want to?
So you can go to Linktree. It's kind of broken up weirdly. So it's linktr.ee/Latara.dragoo. So it's LATARA.DRAGOO. And I have a bunch of goodies on there. I have some free downloads and all sorts of goodness that you can go on there and check out. You can connect with me on social media. I'd love to connect with you. My favorite places are Facebook and LinkedIn. So any one of those ways you want to connect with me, I'd love to connect with you as well.
Well, thank you for being part of this book, for being part of our organization, for helping us out whenever we need you. And we want to encourage everyone to head on over to actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD. Get your copy today. Latara, thank you so much.
I am so happy to be a part of this book. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, Sally. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
One of the things I like most with the collaboration books is because we all have our own networks. And so when we're working together, that's how we can get to be number 1 so quickly. And it's like you guys are watching the numbers and you're like, oh, we're number 10, or oh, we're number 3. Oh, this person beat us. We're back to number 2 again. And it's like a big giant contest. And so it's a lot of high energy. And kudos to you for doing 2 books 7 days apart, like that. I can imagine the energy that took, but it's very exciting. And just since I do have that other poem that's in a different book that was not part of what you do, I did notice like a contrast. Like I didn't really get notified when that one was going to be released, and I didn't see it being promoted. I actually reached out to them to see if there was anything I could do to kind of share the word, and they ended up interviewing me and doing like a little 30-second commercial or something. I don't know where it ended up or how they used it, but really following someone who's done this before so that we have that experience. Like many of us have had coaches or mentors, and you look for someone who's already achieved what you want. So if your result that you want is to be number 1 international best-selling author, then we are all in the right place with you, my friend.